Nothing's funnier than like a big boob bookmark. Hi, I'm Mark, and this is Subliteral Network. I make art and comics, and thanks for watching. Remember to hit like and subscribe and to leave your feedback in the comments. I post art daily, 5 days a week on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and this is a roundup of some of that work in case you missed it, with a little more detailed description added. You can read my Una the Cave Bunny comics free at radiocomics.com, and my new one-shot comic called Searchers is now available at burningstarcomics.net. Please visit my Patreon page if you'd like to support my work, and all these links are in my description and bio. Please watch till the end so you don't miss anything. I used to paint a lot more in watercolor than I do now, and I used to buy this very expensive watercolor paper called Darche cold pressed watercolor, which means that it's smooth rather than the kind of bumpy watercolor paper that you usually see. So one thing I have, whenever I would cut the paper down to standard kind of painting sizes, I always would end up with these scraps, and I would hate to throw them away because the paper is so expensive. But this is just about sort of the size of some of the scraps that I have, so I would put them in a little file and hang on to them. Now, this painting that you're looking at is one of those. So I was kind of in the habit of doing these little ink drawings on them, and this one I happened to get to paint. And it's watercolor is just really so nice to work with. It gets effects that they can only produce or reproduce with like digital brushes now, but when you're working in watercolor, it's the real thing. And I always go back and say, somebody somewhere is making a brush that can do that. But it's nice to be able to do it with their own hands. Plus, this thing is only like 2 by 3 inches, so you can kind of knock them out a little quickly between other work that you're doing, just to get the watercolor out of your system. Here's a pencil drawing of Ula, who was Ali Oop's girlfriend in the famous comic strip by V.T. Hamlin. So I think the strip itself was started in the 1920s, changed radically sort of the storyline in the 1930s, and continued way up until I was a little kid and I was reading it in like the late 60s in the newspapers. The drawing in Alley Oop is just fantastic cartooning. It is just so precise and so clearly done by a very skilled artist that it's just stands the test of time for all the decades that it had been published. It never lowered in quality, and in fact it had a revival where the old caveman storylines the author felt were kind of wearing out, so he introduced time travel, and then all of history opened up to the comic, and V.T. Hamlin is drawing like Roman legionnaires and castles and stuff, lots of stuff from history. Cars and stuff by the time Alley Oop was traveling into the 20th century. But one of the standouts for that strip for me was the way that the cartoonist would draw dresses on, like the Cavegirl dresses on Alley Oop's girlfriend, was just to cover her figure in a series of hash lines, which I'm imitating here. You can see in the drawing, and I kind of buffed her up a little bit. She wasn't anywhere near this kind of shape in the comic strip, but that rendering style was just something. It was just beautiful to behold. Because so many great artists used to draw for the newspaper comic strips. Nowadays, you see just the styles have changed. There's a lot more kind of scribbly, blobby looking characters, because I guess people figured out they could make as much money with a widely distributed comic strip that was drawn kind of blobby and scribbly as they could with a well-rendered piece of art, like the classic newspaper comic strips were. I used to buy these little gourmet cookies, and I would put aside the cardboard that's inside them because it was actually kind of nice. So I'd take this cardboard and say, I'm going to draw something on it. So this one I had around, and I just decided, well, I'm going to make a bookmark out of it. I don't even think I started with pencil on this. I just started drawing with my Sharpies. And now one of the things about these dumb little sketches that you do is that they're kind of a fount of ideas. I kind of like this girl, like the big blonde with the freckles and the dumb brass bikini. There's a story coming out of there somehow, and I wouldn't have thought of it unless I was just sort of sketching casually with no like real purpose. I'd like to thank you, my subscribers, and especially my new subscribers. I'm very happy you enjoy hearing something more about the work that I'm doing, and I hope the videos are entertaining, and I really hope you can come back for more.